Hello, everyone, and happy holidays. I'm Janae Janae, your host and creator, and this is my podcast, The Power Is Mine. And we have taken a slight break, but it is okay because we are back in swinging. And this is going to be the last episode of this season and the last episode for the year. So happy to get this out of the way. But I have been finishing up with my series, which has the name of this current episode, which is called Finding My Voice. And right now, I have 3 installments left until I hit 100. And I'm so glad that I've come up to this milestone because, y'all, it was no easy feat trying to not only get this series started, which I've mentioned to my following that I literally broke down crying before I ever started the series, trying to record myself singing for social media for people to hear. Because my entire life, I've always kind of had this paralyzing stage fright when it comes to my singing. And yes, y'all, I do go through stage fright. Oddly enough, it's funny because even in the dancing world, we still have our issues before performances where you'll think that we get into the habit of performing so often that, when would you ever get stage fright? Like, what? We see you performing and you're doing amazing. What do you mean you were nervous the whole time? But it happens, y'all, because literally I've had experiences where I had to perform for a room that was packed wall to wall, 500 people, 1,000 people, and I've performed amazingly and nobody would ever been able to tell the difference. But at the beginning, I was terrified, petrified, like whatever other word you could think of. And I still did it anyway. And what I've come to learn throughout my life, throughout everything that I've tried to do, with my series, with my starting different things, is that you have to do it scared. You have to keep going even when you're terrified, even when you feel like you can't do it, and you got to power through. Because I performed in Japan, and I'll tell y'all, you might not be able to tell from the videos and how much fun we were having, but literally right when we hit the stage, I was so scared that I was feeling like I was just off beat. I just didn't know what to do. I was so uncomfortable. And I just performed through it. I kept dancing through it. And eventually I felt like I belonged there. And that might be a little bit in how people mean fake it till you make it. So as a dancer or entertainer or anybody that's doing anything on a scale to where you have to put yourself out there and you have to be open to other people judging you and saying not so nice things about you, or just doing it when you would probably feel more comfortable just hiding, you have to keep going. You have to push through. And the first big performance that I've had where it was packed wall to wall was when Jocelyn came into Magic City, and I had to basically perform right before Jocelyn got on stage. That was super, super cool, but it was super hot in the room. There was no space, and I performed, and when I got downstairs, I was so nerve-wracked. I couldn't believe that I did it. But people were cheering my name. People loved the performance. They were throwing money. It was amazing. Then the biggest performance I could say I've had as a dancer was when we were in Japan, and that was an insanely large crowd, and they had the best energy ever. And I was scared shitless right before I went out to perform. So you have to do whatever you're setting out to do anyway, no matter if you're scared, because I've always had these big dreams of being an entertainer, performer, since I was a little girl. And I've had a vision a little while ago of me performing in front of a huge crowd, right? And if I ever wanted to be able to accomplish that, I couldn't tell myself once I finally got the opportunity, no, I'm too scared to do it. How dare I? If the opportunity is right there in front of my face, God has given me the opportunity, I need to go ahead and take a swing at it, right? And I've come to realize that when that fear is paralyzing you and you push through it anyway, you end up realizing just how much of a liar that fear could be. Because I've had to tell myself in certain situations, what is the worst that could happen? And for all of my life, for the most part, I've had this paralyzing fear of singing. And I was just so terrified. Anytime somebody hears me sing, I would clam up, even if they were telling me it sounded good, because I've always been super uncomfortable with people hearing me sing and potentially judging me sing, because singing was always something that was so personal to me. And I loved it, and I wanted to be good at it, and I wanted to practice it and be able to do it without somebody ever being able to say, oh, you don't sound good. But I've heard people pass certain judgments on people who I think are extremely amazing singers, who've had a lengthy career, people that are trailblazers, people that are innovators in the music industry. And people have told them, let me not get too specific, because I don't know exactly who I'm talking about. People have told them that their music was terrible or that they didn't sound good. I'm about to laugh because I don't want to tell myself. Okay. But, you know what I'm saying? And these people persisted, and then they had lengthy careers, and they had beautiful careers of innovating and creating things that will forever impact the lives of people long after they're gone. So I've always thought that was an amazing thing. And to be able to become an innovator, you have to be okay with people not understanding you in that moment in time. Like, a person that I'd always really extremely loved was Missy Elliott, because I thought she was just so ahead of her time and insanely creative. And to this day, long after Missy Elliott is gone, and like, people just have the thought of her, they will forever be able to say how much Missy Elliott impacted the music industry. So to be able to do that, you have to be comfortable with people not agreeing with what you do, with people passing judgments because they don't understand you yet, with people saying, oh, it's not my cup of tea. And that's okay, because you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. So I decided that with my series that I put out, it was about the main intention, y'all, was about me overcoming my stage fright and me experimenting with songs so that I could find my range. And I've always known, I've always known that I have a little bit more of a deeper voice. I used to be able to sing a little bit higher when I was younger, but then, I used to smoke, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a deep voice, and I went through puberty and, different stuff like that. I'm expressive. I yell a lot. So my voice altered up a little bit, and I didn't really know where to place my voice and what songs I should sing where it would sound good. And what I can tell people too with my series that I did is that the intention wasn't always to sound good. It wasn't always to sing in my comfort zone. It was to challenge myself. And through challenging yourself when it comes to singing, sometimes that challenge will get croaks and cracks, and you will not sound good. And I was okay with that. But I had to be able to do that so that I can make progress, because if my biggest fear is people telling me I don't sound good, then what does that mean that I need to do to conquer my biggest fear? It means that I need to put myself out there and have people tell me I don't sound good, so that I can see, yeah, it might sting a little bit, but it didn't kill me, right? So within this series, I've had the pleasure of people suggesting songs to me, of people telling me I sound good, of producers reaching out to me, of singers reaching out to me, of songwriters reaching out to me, and people motivating me, and the people that I know in my life that are already music stars telling me, hey, you should keep going. Like, I support what you got going on. Like, I could see that you still got a ways to go, but I support you. So if people that are innovative in the music industry and that y'all look up to have told me that I should persist with what I'm doing, why on earth would I let y'all convince me to stop singing? Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, I'm always open to critiques, and I know when I don't sound good, or I it's a level of like not caring. But if people who are innovators in the music industry have been able to be like, yeah, keep going, you'll find your way. You might not sound good right now, but you're going to find your way. Then why on earth would I let somebody discourage me? So with finding my voice, I haven't fully gotten rid of my stage fright. And even as a dancer, like, I've danced on and off for about 5 years now, and I never fully got rid of my stage fright. And I still perform through my stage fright to this day. So it's never going to be something that I get rid of per se. And I even asked a little while ago to my followers, and somebody replied, I was like, how do y'all get rid of stage fright as singers? And somebody I know that's a singer, they were like, you never do. You just got to keep going. So it's that act of persisting. It's that act of saying, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not going to worry about what other people have to say about me. And if that was my most overwhelming fear, of somebody telling me I sound bad, I should give up, I just whatever, then that means that I need to face that fear head on. And because of that, I would record a video and I'll be like, damn, this sounds awful, but I'm going to post it anyway. Because guess what? I'm going to have to take that judgment at some point in time. And yes, I'm open to judgment from anybody. You could take advice from anybody. You don't have to be high level to be able to pass a decent critique, because I feel like you can learn from anyone, from the mouth of babes, as they would say. But a lot of the time people would comment and they will be like, I don't sing, but you know, I've heard people say sing from your diaphragm without even knowing what that means. So sometimes you have to be understanding of the fact that people are going to pass a judgment regardless, even if they don't fully even know how to help you or know what to say to you. They just want to pass a judgment. And you have to be okay with that. And I've been on social media for like 10 years now, right? And I used to go viral all the time, millions of retweets, like, because I used to have Twitter. And there would be things that I would say that would be so harmless and it would go viral. And now I had people from all corners of the earth attacking me. Or there would be something that I said that was just random and it would just go viral. And I just have all these notifications. So I've had the experience of having a lot of people saying things to me. And I think that's in part what made me kind of retreat into my shell a little bit, because I realized that no matter what I said, good or bad, or just indifferent, like in between, people are always going to have an opinion. Like, I would literally tweet something random and I would go to sleep and I'll wake up and my phone was blowing up. So you never know what effect what you do is going to have on people. The only thing that you can do is your best. And with me knowing that in some of these days I was sick, or my voice was raspy because I was around too much smoke in the club, or I just really was extremely tired because I just got off work and I was trying to record a video, or I was just in a bad headspace because this has been a hectic year for me, y'all, and I was still trying to get it out anyway, but I was just like so sad or so like frustrated with what I had going on with life, so it was just difficult. People weren't knowing that part of it, but I was still showing up anyway, and I was still saying I'm going to complete this goal if it's the last thing that I do. So what I can tell y'all from that is that it's given me more confidence, and I'm a little bit different about singing now. I probably will never really fully get rid of my stage fright, but at least I know I've made progress, and who I am going to be at day 100 is very different from who I was at day 1. And that's part of the biggest accomplishment, you know? So at the end of the day, with whatever you do in your life, whether you are finding your singing voice, whether you are figuring out your steps because you want to become a dancer, whether you are learning how to be an electrician, or whether you want to be a pilot, or you want to be a mechanic, or you want to do whatever the hell you want to do, I want to tell y'all that it's okay to not be amazing on your day 1. It's okay to be entry level. It's okay to not be perfect. And you are going to have to deal with judgment. And that is okay, because people have opinions like they have assholes. Everybody has one. So you have to reach a space of being indifferent to the praise and indifferent to the negative feedback loops. Because it's a level of stoicness that you have to embody to get where you want to go on your journey, to where you're not necessarily fazed by what people are saying about you, whether it's good or bad. Because I never want to let my head blow up too big when people are like praising me, but I'm not going to let my spirit sink too low either when people are bashing me. So if you're setting out to do something, especially something of like a large magnitude, then you need to be okay with the fact that you're going to ruffle a few feathers. And sometimes maybe it's going to be a little bit funny, because when I finally got the one comment that was like, you know, harsh to me about my singing, I ended up laughing. And I genuinely was laughing, because I was like, wow, this is what I've been afraid of for this long. I got to get a grip. So at the end of the day, I was glad when it finally came, because I was like, okay, now I can face this head on. This is what I've been afraid of. You know, it is what it is. Okay, so on to the next day. And through that, I experienced, and I'm talking about like on a few different occasions, because I spoke on it on Instagram. There are people that don't completely pursue their goals in life, right? They let fear paralyze them, or they set their limitations based on their own laziness or their environment, or just, just choosing not to do it out of fear. But there's also people that reach their goals and they let that become their whole identity. And they feel like they can speak from a place of, I don't necessarily want to say like being somebody's God, but basically like, because I've reached a level that I've reached with it, I should be able to tell you that you shouldn't want to sing anymore, and you just take my word as Bible and you just give up. And I had those experiences, and I had people get frustrated with the fact that I was like, okay, thank you for the feedback, I'm going to keep singing. Like, and they would comment something that wasn't so nice. And I guess they expected me to really like argue with them, or, like kind of go at it with them, or just like reply altogether. And I just didn't reply, or I just wasn't angry. I was just like, okay, cool, thanks. And like, it just kind of sent them into a tizzy, because there are some people that purposefully want to kind of provoke a reaction out of somebody, or they want to be able to say that they're the reason why somebody gave up on their dreams. And, I don't really know where that comes from. I don't ever try to be that person in my life, because I'll never truly be the person to tell you, give up. Even if you sound terrible, even if whatever you're doing, you're not the best at it, I'll be like, okay, babe, just take some time. Like, I'll still tell people to this day, when I started pole dancing, I could not do one pull-up. I was not strong. Like, I became strong because I set my mind to pole dancing. I said I wanted to get good at pole dancing, and I became that. And I became a high-level pole dancer because of it. It has taken me across the world because of my determination with it. So I feel like everything is everything. Like, if I wanted to become great in a different area, I have to make that same decision. I'm going to become great in this area, and I'll just do it. Like, if I decided one day, hey, I'm just not going to do this anymore, that's my business. But for me to up and decide to no longer pursue something that I've wanted since I was a child, because somebody is just like, you sound terrible, you're tone deaf. What do you want me to break down and cry and say, oh, I'll never sing again because he told me I sound tone deaf? Babe, long gone the years of me actually listening to what the fuck people got to say about me and caring. It just is what it is. Like, I'm going to move along. I'm going to say thank you for your feedback. Okay, cool. Well, day 100 on the way. So like, that's just, it's the mindset that I've developed through the muscle memory of me getting up and I guess kind of suffering through the tiredness, the mental fog, the not feeling like doing it, the wanting to give up and deciding for myself not to give up. So I just cannot see somebody else telling me to give up and me actually listening to them, because you don't know how much I've suffered for this dream of mine. So it's just not going to go away that easy. But some people genuinely want to be able to have that satisfaction that because they said so, you gave up. And, everybody gets their kicks different ways. So what I could say through this journey, and I want people to really take from it, is if you have a dream, hold on tight to it. You don't necessarily have to do it publicly. You don't have to start a 100-day series of, okay, this is my journey to becoming a mechanic. But if you do it for yourself, you could record it for yourself. If you just actively work towards it and never record it, it's still a worthy journey anyway. So if you have dreams, go after your dreams, make them happen. And don't let anybody discourage you just for the hell of it, because you never even know if the person that's trying to discourage you ever fully pursued their dreams anyway. So why would you let a failure in their own right tell you that you should become a failure by quitting? I feel like that's the only time when you fail is when you just full throttle quit. Like, I would have never known the day that I started pole dancing that it would take me as far as it took me. But what if I had quit? I would have never been able to experience performing for a crowd of 1,000 people. And I don't even really know how many damn people was in there for real. It was a lot of people, y'all, in Japan. Like, who can say that? And I've realized that I've had the blessing and the pleasure of doing more in a year or in my life than a lot of people ever will accomplish. So it's just my prerogative to keep going and make things happen for myself. And I'm not letting anybody stop me from that. Now, I've had a lot of setbacks this year alone, let alone my life. But at the end of the day, I'm going to make my life what I want it to be. And I'm going to try my hardest to see if I can realize these dreams that I've had or these visions that I've had since I was a child. And through God being on my side, I'll do as best as I can to motivate people. And that's, for the most part, just what I really want to accomplish. But all love to y'all, and don't give up, and do your best. See you later, and thank you for listening to this episode of The Power Is Mine.